Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your August reading. I'm doing things a little bit different this month. Trying things out across platforms. So as I shuffle your cards, please head over to TikTok to check out a quick 3-card reading for you on there. Now I'm doing a similar layout here on YouTube. I am doing a 3-card kind of spread but with more cards. Basically kind of past, present and future, but I'll explain it as I go along. Okay, 2 cards in that position. Okay, so guys, this first column is kind of that represents the past experiences that we've been through. Now I am finding as I do this for all the signs, it's kind of sort of insinuating what we need to let go of from the past, but also what tools we have learned from the past and what can really benefit us in this moment in our current situation. So interestingly, you have the King of Darkwood Elves. This is really interesting in the past sense. So this represents authority, credibility, and status. As I'm saying that, I feel like you thrive basically living, kind of owning those kind of titles. I feel like when you are at the top of your game and feeling as though things are flowing from a leadership role, you really are in a space of, I've got this, everything flows perfectly, and you feel on top of the world. This is giving me this sense of you feeling kind of in a space where that's where you want to be, like always. Obviously we all kind of do, but this just feels very relevant to you. Now this is very similar to, I think it's Libra. So if you have Libra in your sign as well, this might be even more prominent in your life at the moment, presently, something you're battling with, is kind of looking back and thinking, I'm going to get back to that feeling. I'm going to get back to that way of being. And I do feel like in some ways it's on a very spiritual level of, I was so good. I was able to, meditate every morning, do this, have these rituals in place, and it made me feel really good. The only thing is like you're looking back to an existence that is no longer. And it's not that you won't ever feel that way or have this kind of vibe again, but it's more like when we start living like that, as though we're trying to get back to something, you're really not wanting growth. You're really not aiming for growth and aiming for anything in a future sense. It's kind of like you are trying to move backwards, which you never want to really do. And I kind of think that that's something for you to look at, Sagittarius. Like, are you trying to bring something from the past into the present? And that is the wrong thing to do. Now, fair enough, if you want to aim for something like goals, I feel like it should be, I want to be able to feel X, Y, and Z and aim for that. But I just want you to be conscious if you're trying to aim for something that you've been once, and then change that mindset, because again, you're telling the universe then that I want what was, and it's saying you don't have that anymore. You're not capable of having it. You haven't got the capacity to aim for future things because you're again looking back. I just feel like this is what creates this blockage and wall, and I hope I'm explaining this in a way that it makes sense to you, Sagittarius, because I don't want to say like you can't ever be like that again, you can't ever feel like that, but again, I just want you to change the way you're thinking, change the way you're looking. Who you are today is enough, and who you are is capable of so many things. Who you have been is with you and in you. You don't change. You don't kind of change away from things to the point of you can never be that again. Should you want to? I don't believe so. However, it's in you. You've existed in that state, right? So I feel as though for some of you, it's like acknowledging that you can't lose something, but you can evolve and move on and change and shift. So yes, you're not going to ever go back to that same way of being, but it doesn't mean you cannot have a version of that moving forward. I just feel this, it's really contradicting in me. I'm kind of hoping as I go along these cards, I can help bring some a little bit more clarity to you, because I feel as though it's okay to aim for what it is that you want, but the way you're going about it seems like you really are looking to the past. Anyway, moving back to that card, again, it is a seriousness. I do feel like perhaps there is this seriousness attached to your past, and that is lingering with you. I do want to say to you, have more fun, and I haven't looked at the current energy or future energy, but it feels as though releasing of this more serious energy needs to happen for you. It's like, in some ways, prioritizing things on a serious matter, which I think that naturally that's what we are doing we have always done in like previous generations, the way we're kind of more programmed towards is think logically, sensibly, and doing the right thing. Now, what that has created is a shift of less artistic people, less people who are going to be creative and enjoy life and live in this moment. We've kind of created generations of soldiers who, even though we're not prepped for war, that's the exact opposite actually. We're prepped for conformity, we're prepped for fitting into a system that's just falling apart before our eyes. I do feel like the solution to this is to have more artistic thinking, more creative thinking, more fun in our lives, something that brings joy to us, brings joy to others, and then effectively we're all working much more productively together as a community because we're enjoying life. And when people enjoy life, things happen so much more easier. It's like any mechanical body. If everything's playing its part to its full capacity, its best self, essentially, like the cog is not rusty, it's working its full power, it's happy doing its own thing because that's what it is designed to do. It's working to its full capacity, right? When that cog is not happy in its situation, it's getting a bit rusty, there's water, there's things that shouldn't be there because again, it's not, if it had a mind and it was a human in this analogy, it's not really living to its full capacity because it's not living its own potential. It's trying to be a spring when it's actually a cog. It's like that kind of way of thinking, like if it was just enjoying its life doing what it's supposed to be doing because it enjoys doing that, it enjoys going around and playing with its other cogs in order to work, everything works together. I'm hoping this analogy is coming across. And what I'm saying is, like, if you're living to your full potential, you are loving what you're doing, you're enjoying what you're doing. And that's exactly what I see here needs to shift in you to go from that serious into the playfulness. I'm sorry you are going to vibrate. I have my washing machine on at the same time and the whole entire house vibrates when it just gets on that quick fast cycle. Hopefully I'm not going to give you too much vibration. Interesting. So this is paired with Two of Cups. This makes sense for me, you guys. I feel like you may be lingering on relationships that you have had in the past. I do think that perhaps this has changed you, like a monumental moment is what I'm trying to say. Of like, you had something but it didn't live up to what it was. But now it has changed you. And I feel like there could be this bitterness with this, and this could be where the seriousness is coming from as well. There could be healing in this area around relationships, but I just feel like actually this is just a moment for you to realize where you sort of maybe stopped being able to feel as carefree in this moment. Something changed in regards to a relationship or even a partnership of some kind. This could be the moment where that playfulness stops. So this could be a moment for you to just, again, I know I'm saying don't go back to this past and don't focus on this, but in order for sometimes for us to get over something, it's acknowledging the moment and realizing what changed that and why we felt the need to become something other than, our basic natural instinct. And then working on that and working around these ideas. So sometimes I'm going to use what's just popped into my mind in terms of a situation. It can be, we've got in a relationship, we've had children, and then we had to become a caregiver. This then, we become more serious. I definitely feel like for me, I struggle sometimes to do the whole enjoying life thing outside of being a mum because again, you have to be prioritizing their safety. You have to be responsible for them, making sure that they're doing all of these things so that they are living their best lives, being healthy little humans, picking up healthy habits. Your focus is so much on making sure that you're not destroying them that you realize that in the end, sometimes you're destroying yourself because again, you're just not giving yourself that attention it needs. And then so when you think, for example, if I thought, in order for me to feel a bit carefree, I need to go on nature walks. If I thought that, which I do often think that, I'm like, I can't do that unless I take my children. But then I don't have a car, so I have to rely on my mum. And then if she wants to bring blah, blah, there's no room in the car or she doesn't, like there's all of these things in place in order for me to do that one thing that would give me peace and clarity. And it takes away the fun. It's all serious. You have to literally organize something that should be so simple as walking out the door and just going for a walk. And I feel like it would, again, so sometimes realizing these moments, we we built this stress on them that again it's just like, I'm not even going to have this fun thing. It takes away all of that stress, and again then you're missing out and you're not taking care of your basic needs. I can really see that that's kind of the angle here I feel like you should be looking at, that's standing out to me, is that there was a moment that all the stress added, so you put this seriousness as a priority, and the fun is kind of takes the backstage, and again dependent on situation and whether you actually allow yourself to again be a little more carefree. Carefree keeps coming up, like carefree, flowing, naturally enjoying yourself. That's what I feel is might be hindering you based on a past experience. Anyway, moving on to the more present energy now. Really cool. Our first card here is the Weaver. She's fate, destiny, and word. She comes up a lot for a lot of people for this month. So of August, it's like, it's saying essentially that you're on the right path. Things are happening for a reason. So again, don't be beating yourself up that if you are resonating with a lot of what I'm saying, we can go, oh my God, yeah, I do that, and then keep ourselves in that cycle. It's not for that. It's to acknowledge and work on. And this is saying this is part of your destiny of realizing that, you know, you have reasons as well for why you're building each of these things. Yes, Rooney Bird?
I'm hungry again.
Okay, well, when I finish this, we will go get another something to eat, okay? Good job. So if we be good, we'll go and get it. Every time I record, he has been a little bit of a nuisance now that he's 3. So there will be a few interruptions. With this, I feel as though you do, again, I'm getting the sense of children for some of you watching this, because I feel as though there's certain little beings that are, again, enhancing this moment, and they're part of our destiny, and they will help us to discover parts of ourselves that we didn't have before. If you don't have children, that's perfectly fine. This is still a message for you. I just feel as though it could even be in terms of people, like friendships, parents, lovers, or even key parts of our lives are significant to us that we have in this moment. And I really do feel it's essential that we bring them with us in a way that is enhancing ourselves and realizing that I guess how much they have brought to your life rather than taken away. I do feel like there's perhaps a change of perspective here as well hidden within this Weaver. But realizing that, again, this is supposed to be where you're heading, and I feel like it's a very explorative time for you, Sagittarius, actually, which is quite interesting. But you are creating something, and I kind of want to say to you is you're not beginning, you're not starting anew, and I feel like you might naturally be having these cycles where you think, okay, refresh, let's start again, this is, you know what I mean, and I've fallen into bad patterns or I've done this, and you feel like you're reinventing constantly, but you're not. You're actually in the flow of this, in the sense of there is no need to restart something because you're already in the middle of it. So again, let yourself flow organically with this. Stop fighting that flow and thinking you need to try something whole brand new. I feel as though it's kind of more like, for example, Rooney, be careful knocking the table, please. It's a fly. When you're creating, for example, knitting, I'm going to use this because there's a web and it just gives me this knitting kind of vibe. So when you are knitting something, you may miss a stitch. That doesn't mean you have to undo the whole thing and redo it. You could perhaps create a different pattern there, like make a patch, come in with a whole different stitch for that area. There's creative ways to make something improved that maybe might look better than the original design. It could have been a plain scarf and you created a scarf which had kittens over it, you know, like patches or something of like a cute design. It's now a funky scarf. I want you to see this scarf as your life. You may have just one-pathed it and made it go smoothly and seamlessly, or you can have little bits of new in there that's not new but just changed and shifted so that it looks different to than you originally intended. And I want you to be open to those shifts because I feel like that is what is needed for you during this time. Yes, Bugs, I'm just talking. I know, I see it. It flies when you blow it. This is paired with the Queen of Swords in reverse. So I do feel like, again, when I said about this battles, I hope he's not too noisy for you guys. When there's these battles, of us feeling like we're not doing it right or things have not been on track, so we're going to restart. I feel like it is just you continuously just I feel like maybe you're trying to be too much of a perfectionist in whatever area you are trying to expand on. If it doesn't go right, again, you're starting again because you're like, oh, no. Maybe it's because it's not meant to be simple. Nothing is meant to be simple. If we are fighting to keep things simple and flowing, you're just flowing against the natural cycles of life, like nature. And I tell my kids this, actually, it's a very good thing. Yes, I'm watching, but remember, I'm talking as well, so we need to not interrupt so much. I know, it's very cool. Like when they break a stick, Rune will break a stick. He loves sticks. He's always got sticks on him when we walk in school. He'll be like, fix it, fix it. I'm like, no, nature doesn't let us do that, because remember, nature bends and it twists and it breaks and it makes something new. Now you have two sticks. Now you can play twice as much with those sticks. And it's about realizing that life's like that. Sometimes we can be going along thinking it's going to go a certain way, and a bend happens, and we now have something completely different to what we thought we had. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's another opportunity. Life is meant to be that way. If it was meant to be a straight line, we would all not be human. We would be, I don't know, something else that, is linear, and life is not linear. Now, this future tense here, this is basically potential outcomes. It's really good for you straight away. We've got the ancients, elder experiences and lessons. So what you're going through is growth. It is experience, and it's saying you'll come into a space of wisdom where you will realize that all of this that you're going through presently was for a purpose. That weaver is kind of saying, no, this is your fate, this is your purpose. I feel like you'll come into the sense of you acknowledging that. And again, if you're seeking that spiritual wisdom to get into that sense of space and peace, this is saying you are going to. But again, I do think it's going to look different. You're not going to go back to the same. It's going to be different. What was is not meant for you now. That was meant for you then. Remember, each time we are evolving, what is meant for us shifts and changes just as we do. I do get this kind of like, it's like the feeling that you'll be, it's like, for example, think of a wise woman that doesn't speak a whole lot, but she knows things. So when you say something, she might like laugh at you and go, yeah, maybe. And then it changes differently. And she's like, told you. It's like that kind of feeling in you. I feel like you'll just be like, yeah, this is for me. That wasn't for me. I kind of feel that vibe. Sagittarius, you're bringing lots of analogies out for me today and lots of different scenarios. How I'm doing your reading is I feel it's different to the others. Whether it is or not, I don't know. Because I do one reading, I'm on to the next. I'm focusing on you guys. But I feel like there's lots of just kind of situations and things in order for me to explain. It is flowing out very differently to me. So that's something to take note of. You are definitely, it's like changing your perspective, thinking of things differently. I feel like you need to get creative with your thinking. This is why I'm being creative, thinking of all these scenarios just flowing through me, different analogies for you to help kind of change your thought process on how you are thinking about day-to-day things, about the bigger picture things. I just feel like creative thinking could be essential to you. So any situation that you're dealing with, this can be, work, home, life, spirituality. Creative thinking, I feel for you, is your biggest asset during this time. Anyway, potential outcomes are still in. And again, I'm being brought back to me saying, like, look, this is guidance for you now. And we're in the future sense now. So it's like creative thinking. And the World in reverse and the Hierophant in reverse. Okay, interesting. Let me see what we got for you here. So I do feel like what you're in now, it's saying like things are going to be completely different. I do feel like if you have a vision of what you think joy and life and happiness is for you, I feel as though because you are limited in your thinking, that's why. Because here I feel as though it's saying it's going to be completely different to how you are envisioning. So you are one of the signs where we're saying, don't think of the future, don't envision your future, focus on the now, focus on what is, and get creative with your current present space, rather than worrying about future and thinking, I'll do it when then is, I need to wait till I'm here before I can do that. Focus on the now, because what will be is just going to be different. So you're wasting basically brain space by imagining certain things that are not going to come into fruition because it's not what you're going to expect. Definitely feel as though spiritual exploration is definitely a great avenue for you. With this Hierophant in reverse, I feel as though you have a lot to learn and you may even come into a space of study in future. But again, I just get this sense of waiting till you get there. Oi! What are you saying, golly gosh? Yes. He is 3 and he repeats everything he hears all over the place. I definitely feel like you are searching this carefree, and I envision this coming for you, but again, I don't want to go too far in that. It's like it's stopping me because I feel, again, I want you to be in the present. It's sort of saying it's coming, it's flowing. We have red ribbon all wrapped around her, and I feel like this is potentials. Again, we're in the potential column, but I'm just getting all these different potentials that with your creative thinking you can manifest. Definitely a lot of red here that is catching my eye. I would say that there's, again, yeah, no, creative, think with love, think from the heart, follow your passion. Lots of abundance ahead for you, but again, I feel as well it's just fulfillment. It's in signs of fulfillment, but I just keep feeling this need of being like, but we're not even going to go there because I want you to get creative to get to this space. I'm being brought back to the present. Again, I have not had to do this with any sign Sagittarius, only with you guys. It's like, stop thinking about the future because there's more for you to do here. And it needs your focus now. And I do feel like actually we begin this and it's like your focus is in the back. And then this is, now I'm in the future, it's saying focus on the present. Where everything's trying to bring you to this present and get you away from that back thinking, away from that forward thinking and thinking about the now. There's definitely work to be done now and there's things that need your attention now, but it comes from creativity, passion, joy, and experiences, and again, just lightheartedness. I'm just being brought back continuously here, but I do feel like where you're heading, it's literally going to be like understanding of this moment more than anything is what I'm getting. It's like you will understand all this then. Until then, focus on the now. I hope that made sense for you, Sagittarius. This is quite a wild reading. Interesting. I'm loving it because it's different. And thank you so much, guys. I'm finished for you today. I hope my son wasn't too much of a getting in the way. I can't find my word. Please head over to TikTok. Check out if there's a reading for you on there. Subscribe to all of my platforms for me, please, to help me keep giving all the goodness to you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next month.